We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה.
Обращаюсь к вам в связи с кровавым, варварским террористическим актом.
Fires burning, huge structures collapsing.
לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה.
Жертвами которого стали десятки мирных, ни в чем не повинных людей. Наши соотечественники, в том числе дети, подростки.
ולהשיב מלחמה שערה בעוצמה ובהיקף שהאויב לא הכיר.
This is much bigger than just another terrorist attack. What happened in Russia is already having global ramifications of freedoms being taken away from people. The over 135 dead Russian concert attendees, if that isn't horrific enough, now ripples to make every law-abiding citizen a victim of the attack. The attack on Crocus is over, but the attack on the people of the world just gained momentum. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. If any one of you out there have Instagram, which I do have it, but I really don't use it all that much, but if you do, you may have noticed a new privacy setting on your devices today. It was done by Meta and Instagram, and those who confer and apply the power of westernized warlords that aim to take advantage of situations like this one that we witnessed in Russia. Politics as they choose to see it are no longer allowed for the discussions. Is this election interference? Well, of course it is. Is this a takeover of your freedom of speech? Well, absolutely. And how does the Russian terrorist attack have a role in this? Because terrorism is a weapon not only for ISIS, Hamas, ISIL, the Taliban, and other groups, but it's a weapon for governments to use to restrict constitutional rights and armies to use for throwing away the Geneva Convention and the UN rules of war that are supposed to apply during times of war. If you haven't heard the questioning of one of the terrorists that were captured by Russia shortly after the attack, you might have noticed what he said has just set off Instagram to censor political speech as they see it. Now I have to come to the part where I tell you that this video may contain graphic descriptions, and I caution viewers now to choose whether or not they want to watch this. However, the statement which you're about to hear is imperative and brings forth the revelation and hits the core of the motives behind the madness, which is costing people their freedoms. Take a listen.
When did you arrive from Turkey? What did you do in Turkey? My documents expired, so I crossed the border. Once again, your full name. Year of birth, 1998. What did you do in Crocus yesterday? What did you do in Crocus? I was shooting. You were shooting? You were shooting who? Why? For money. Money? Let's put him up. For how much money? Some 500,000 of what? Of rubles. Did you get it from who? I have received only one half. It was transferred to my card. Where's your card? He gave it and it was in my clothes, in my jacket, so I lost it. Where did you get weapons? They gave it to us. Who they? I don't know who they. They texted me on Telegram without names, without anything. How did they find you? You found them or they found you? They texted me. Why did they text you in particular? I don't know. I was listening to... But how come they just offer you to kill people out of thin air? It doesn't happen like this. What was on Telegram? I was listening to a prophet, to a sermon. You were listening to sermons, and who texted you? Assistant of a preacher. What's his name? No name, no last name, no nothing. They just texted me. When did they text you? A month ago. Who texted you? Exactly. He texted me, he promised me 1 million rubles. What did he promise you? What did he want from you? He offered me and I agreed. What did he offer? He offered money. For what? Money for what? He offered me to do these deeds for money. What deeds exactly? To kill people. To kill who? He just sent me the location Did they tell you who to kill? People? What people? Doesn't matter. Anyone you meet there, anyone you encounter, just enter the location and kill people? Yes. Once again, your full name and your year of birth. Born in 1988, September 17th.
There are two key points that I'd like to pay special attention to right now. First of all is,
where did you get weapons? They gave it to us. Who they? I don't know who they. They texted me on Telegram.
I don't know what the difference between mercenary and terrorist would be. Maybe they're both, but in this case, it was more of a mercenary being paid to go and do a deed for money. That sounds like a mercenary. So maybe terrorist wouldn't be the proper name for these gentlemen. It could be more or less mercenaries. And secondly, he said he was contacted via text.
What wasn't Telegram? I was listening to a prophet, to a sermon. You were listening to sermons, and who texted you? Assistant of a preacher.
Through Telegram, which is a different platform than Instagram, yes, but they do have some similarities as far as connecting people from the cloud network onto a platform, where Telegram is more messaging, Instagram is videos and pictures and what have you. So within 72 hours of this interrogation video that we got to watch, we get this interesting information tidbit from Instagram. I'll let Russell Brand explain. He explains things very well.
A new setting has been established. That is, political content has to be selected for. We've all been automatically opted in. They've found a way to make it kind of fiddly to get political content. And as is always the case when it comes to these matters, no one will tell you directly what political content means. It will include social and cultural content. So you could be up on the gram chatting about any old thing and find yourself on the wrong side of political censorship.
Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, changed your settings overnight without you knowing it.
It's now limiting what you see that it considers political content. CBS 8's Anna Laurel explains how Meta defines political content and how you can change your new settings.
When I first tried to change my own Instagram settings, it was actually shutting my Instagram app down. So I updated the app and then I was able to update the settings. So you might have to do that first. This political content that Meta says it's now limiting includes laws, elections, and social topics.
Yeah, worldwide farmers' protest. You can bet that will be included. Flower Power 678 in the Rumble chat. That means they can essentially select any content at all and say it's political and select against it. They may even decide that certain users are political commentators. I mean, I think I would fall foul of such a critique. Do you imagine that that is possible?
Now, to a lot of people out there who don't have Instagram, I don't use Instagram, no big deal. Well, it's Facebook and Instagram as well. If you realize the implications that this is going to have on society during another election year, once again, we have a ball rolling for election year to start messing around with the political, terms and who gets to say what and where and how. Of course, during an election year, let's go figure that one out. But this goes much, much further than just the election. It goes into the freedoms of people, innocent people who did nothing wrong, and starts taking away their freedom. You ever see those can you read the back of a can? It's got warning labels on it. A warning, do not eat this aluminum can. It could cause heart failure. Well, that's because some idiot out there probably took a bite out of the aluminum can and they had to start putting that on the can. Not everybody's going to do that. Now, with the same thing with these terrorist, mercenary, whatever you have. They want to look at everybody as if they're a mercenary or terrorist. And that really infringes on the rights of people as a whole. So now I believe that people in America and around the world can see the political games that are being played. And the terrorist game, which we saw the United States just go in and take a country over that had nothing to do with the terrorist attack, or Iraq and go kill their leader, Saddam Hussein, who had nothing to do with the terrorist attack. And not only was the Iraqi war about going to Iraq and taking over Iraq for mainly their oil, but also George Bush implemented the Patriot Act against the American citizens, which was the strongest act against American freedoms that America has ever seen since who knows when, where the feds and CIA could just go into Americans' emails and read them and phone calls and tap them, and no matter what, just open game, invasion of privacy for all Americans. And that was open. That book was opened, and those laws were enacted against Americans. Not just the terrorists, but the Americans too. So a lot of people don't know that, but that as well happened during or after a terrorist attack that many people claim was not really a terrorist attack at all. Even if it was, it's crazy how 9 people who were the terrorists changed the world. And in this case, in Russia, 11. We see Israel going into Palestine after the Hamas attack, no holds barred, we can do whatever we want. Now we see Russia having a terrorist attack on them, saying, okay, well, no holds bars, there's no rules now, and we can go into Ukraine since they crossed over from Ukraine. That would be like the terrorists coming across the border from Mexico and us saying, oh, we're going to go attack Mexico because the terrorists came across the border from Mexico, when Mexico might have not had anything to do with it. You see the game that they're playing? This terrorist card, once you get it, and it seems like a plan of the West. I mean, let me just go over this. I don't know if anybody out there watches UFC fighting, Ultimate Fighting. Khabib, one of the greatest of all time, middleweights, wins UFC fighting championship. He's hardcore Islam, hardcore Muslim. And who does he go see? Who invites him to his country? Well, he goes and sees Putin, Vladimir Putin from, Khabib is from Dagestan. He's in Islam. It doesn't make sense for terrorists to attack Putin in Russia. So it doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up. What do you think? Is this just an infringement on people's rights as a whole, as like just more power for the world superpowers to gain control? Did Russia do this to Russia to be able to open the playbook up and go in and take Ukraine by any means and cancel any of the UN, agreements or Geneva Conventions or whatever for a world war? What do you think? I think there's more to this, and I think we're going to find out more as we go. I just don't want us, like as in the Iraq War, find out too late. Let me know what you all think about this. It was beautiful having you here tonight, and please comment below. Love you all. One love. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.